Today, the U.S. recognizes its newest federal holiday, Juneteenth. But it's a day Black Americans in states like Texas and Colorado have been celebrating since the late 1800s. It's a day of hope mixed with a hard look at the tensions and hostility Black people still face in this country, more than 150 years after emancipation. And joining me now is Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas. Congresswoman, it is great to see you. And I have to show you this. I hope you can see it on your monitor. This was your reaction, and this is from the Big Payback, the movie that you're very much featured in, when essentially when Juneteenth passed and became a holiday. Take a look.
I declare and proclaim that America has just gotten a gift. They have the ability now to call themselves the supporters of the Juneteenth national holiday. This is America.
For Black Americans who say we want stuff we want stuff done, like we want things like police reform, we wanted things like voting rights reform. That's the stuff that we need done that's more critical than something symbolic like a holiday. What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, Joy, thank you so very much for having me, and happy Juneteenth. I would say what I've said, that Juneteenth was actually the beginning, and I have been in the fight for police reform, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, George Floyd Law Enforcement and Integrity Act, voting rights over the decades that I've been in the United States Congress, privileged to be representing my constituents. But here's where we are. One of the things that Juneteenth, after a decade of fighting for that legislation and introducing it for the first time, the federal holiday in 2020, and receiving 1 million petitions from Opal Lee, working collaboratively, it is now a statement that has never been made before. Juneteenth, of course, commemorates 2 years of waiting past 1863 for Texans remaining in slavery, the brutality of slavery. But what it does is it opens up the nation to a discussion of the brutality of slavery, the strength of the slaves, how they built this nation, which means the next step should be an understanding why voting rights is absolutely imperative and the John Robert Lewis bill should be passed, or why H.R. 40 should be passed. So the idea was that once all of my colleagues, unanimous in the Senate, 415 votes in the House, voted for it and saw that nothing happened, nothing collapsed, we were able to look at this issue together, and all of the festivities and commemorations. I was in church yesterday with what I had promised my constituents, that we would honor the slaves and our ancestors in a memorial service. I believe it opens the door to pushing now for voting rights, for pushing now for ensuring that we, in fact, have real gun safety laws, for pushing now that we protect democracy, and for pushing now for H.R. 40, the commission to study slavery and develop reparation proposals, the Big Payback.
You know, not everyone is trying to sort of celebrate together. Dr. Mehmet Oz, who's running for a statewide office in Pennsylvania, he originally went on Truth Social, which, why would anybody do that? But he was on Truth Social, and he tweeted, he deleted the word equality that he'd written on a post that he was celebrating the equality and justice, et cetera, on Juneteenth. What is going on in a party where you can't write the word equality and get away with it if you're running for office?
Well, I think people should distinguish who now has taken hold of the Republican Party, the grand old party, the party of Lincoln, the party of H.W. Bush, the party of George W. Bush, the party of the Secretary of State, the late Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice. That party is off to the side. What we have now are individuals that embrace insurrectionists, embrace false stories and falsehoods about the election. And so what I would say is I wish that Mr. Oz, Dr. Oz, would have kept to his own views, his heart. Yeah. But he did not. Yeah. He got beat up. Yeah. And he immediately dropped the word equality. And he backed down. I would want to be standing on equality rather than dropping equality. And I asked him to look into his heart. What kind of America are we if we can't fight for equality?
Amen. And the Texas Republican Party is something else. We're going to have to bring you back on and just talk just about that. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, thank you.
Their platform. Ooh, it's atrocious.
I mean, it is. Congresswoman, thank you, and happy Juneteenth.